Welcome to the TrueLens podcast. If you like the Minnesota cities of Woodbury, Cottage Grove, St. Paul Park, Newport, and Gray Cloud Island, you're in the right spot.
TrueLens, TrueLens, TrueLens podcast.
Welcome to the TrueLens podcast. I'm Ann Schweisguth. I'm the executive director at TrueLens Community Media. And joining me today as our guest co-host is the knowledgeable, the cool, the kind Mayor of St. Paul Park, Keith Franke.
Thank you, Ann. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
I'm so excited to talk to you about what's been going on in St. Paul Park and what you think about some of our TrueLens videos.
Right. I got to ask, who did the music for the intro?
You know, it's AI generated.
Oh,
So
okay.
I went on, I said, this is what I wanted to say, and yeah, it's amazing. It's definitely not me.
Right. Was hoping maybe you were going to tell me it was a local artist or something.
I would love to do that down the road. Like,
Right.
I think, and we have a story today. Maybe she can help us out.
Right. There you go.
As we talk about it. I think that's a great. If you know a local artist that wants to do a TrueLens podcast jingle,
Right.
send them my way.
All right. I'll keep
right.
my ears open.
Well, you have been around for a long time, right? And I'm not saying you're old, because we're both there. We've both been around a long time.
Right.
You've had a lot of different titles: mayor, state representative, city council member. What's harder, a mayor or working at the Capitol?
I think it depends upon how you look at it. I think emotionally and mentally, working at the Capitol is a lot harder than being mayor. But being mayor, you're in contact more with people. I mean, you're upfront, forward-facing. It's almost customer service-based, kind of like the industry that I'm in, because you see everybody on a daily basis. Where at the Capitol, you're a little bit more insulated. You're up there in St. Paul, doing your thing, and your chance to connect, at least for some. For me, it's different, being the owner of the Park Cafe. People know where to find me.
Right.
People know where I'm at. So it was still kind of similar to being mayor, but only on a higher level of issues. I think being at the Capitol can really take a toll on you, emotionally. And being mayor, dealing with the issues that you deal with that are totally different and more at the street level, more Main Street. The one thing I like about that is you also get that satisfaction of when you're doing a good job or you're doing good things, because you're
Right.
in that immediate connection.
I've always loved it. Like, if there's somebody's real angry or kind of upset about something, he'll be like, come on over to the cafe. Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's talk it through. Let's see if we can work it out. And you don't see that all the time. You
No.
just say, come see me. Let's talk about it. I get that you're upset. Let's find out why and talk about it.
And that has happened more than I think people could even realize, almost on a weekly basis. Come on down, come to the
on
cafe.
down.
And even when I was at the state level, I would say the same thing. I know that you can't, make it to St. Paul during these times, but during these times, I'm at the cafe. Come
You're
on
available.
down. We'll have a cup of coffee. We'll see what we can do.
What kind of got you into, and I hate to say politics, because it's really representation. What got you into wanting to be a representative and, somebody who is going to advocate for your fellow neighbor?
I think for me, initially I always tell the story. I said when I first ran, I ran for mayor, and it was because I was, like anybody else, kind of angry with the system. I won't get into the story.
A lot of people get into local politics because of that.
Right.
Yep.
I went up to City Hall and started to inquire, and I said, well, how does this work? And the gal behind the desk at the time said, well, you can run for council. It's $2, fill out this form. And I said, okay, well, how much to run for mayor? And she said, $2.
$2.
Fill out this form. So I said, all right, well, if we're going to do this, we might as well go for the big chair. And then the rest is history. And honestly, I just found something that I'm passionate about, and I think I've been pretty good at, because I found that care and concern and that sense of just something that I enjoyed and fulfillment that just carried me forward. For those that know me, and I didn't know a lot about the political system as far as, delegates and conventions and Republican versus Democrat or any of that stuff. And everybody I'd always worked with being mayor in this area were all Democrats and some Republicans, Denny McNamara out of Hastings at that time. So I called all of them and just, gathered as much information as I could, and I met with everybody and just made the decision and said, all right, well, let's give this a shot. And then I found something else that I was passionate about on a different level at that time. And we gave it a shot, and nobody thought we had a chance, at all. And we just worked really hard. And I think people that get to know me and take the chance to talk to me understand that the true meaning of representation comes from me. Because after my first term, the Pioneer Press named me the most moderate state representative in the state of Minnesota, which I had no clue about.
I believe it too.
They did some computer algorithm based on all the votes taken by all the representatives, and I fell down the middle more than any Republican or any Democrat. And I didn't even realize it, but when people asked me about it, I said, I'm just trying to represent my area, and I try to represent everybody. And I try to make the best decisions with the information that's given to me based upon how I feel or I'm told or hear about in our community what they want. And that was kind of satisfying to get that little, notch in
your political belt.
Right. In my I was trying to think of something, cool to say, but no. And
I wish that more people were like that. If everybody looked at the issue instead of the line, I think that everyone would be a lot happier.
Right.
Because everybody gets a piece of the pie then.
Right.
It's not about our side won or your side won. It's we win.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's get into our first video today.
All right.
So our first video is a video about a business in St. Paul Park. And I don't know how long they've been there. At least 2 or 3 years now.
Yep, a few years.
Yeah, a few years. We did this story last summer. It's a place called Mik Mart. And if you like good ice cream, it's a good place to go.
The reason that Mik Mart ice cream came to be back in 2009 was I had a pretty regimented summer as far as hockey goes, but I needed a summer job, and the thought was, okay, maybe I can run a business so I have some flexibility and control over my schedule. Why an ice cream truck? My mom and I have a long-running dispute about who came up with the idea of an ice cream truck. I like to think I did.
I believe it was me. I have no idea. Neither of us will give that up.
But somehow out of that, we came up with the idea of an ice cream truck and went for it. I'm a lawyer now, and that's my full-time job. And my parents run this business. The business has grown into something that I think is really pretty special and pretty cool to come back and witness.
The business now is 5 trucks, and we have a storefront in St. Paul Park. The business model has moved to private parties, and they could be as small as a little birthday party right here in St. Paul Park, or it can be as large as 6,000 pieces of ice cream.
Our trucks, they have a little bit different product offerings depending on the truck. Sometimes we'll do events where we're serving hundreds of people, so we offer our prepackaged ice cream. Sometimes we have premium scooped ice cream.
We started our trucks in Woodbury, right in our own little neighborhood that we live in.
Our warehouse where our trucks parked for the night and stocked and all that thing was located in St. Paul Park here.
And after COVID, when we had to deliver, it just dawned on me, why don't we do an ice cream storefront? And we have our customers come into this part of the building to order. So they get a little beeper, and as soon as their orders are ready, they just walk to the side and they pick up their order.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
I love the location, I love the people.
And we really hope it's a spot for people to come and enjoy with friends and family.
20 flavors in cups and cones. We make sundaes, we make shakes. We have some set, but we have create your owns for everything. Do what you would like, we'll make it for you. So we came up with the infinite cookie sandwich. We had started making these cookie sandwiches right away. We have a double, a triple, a quad, and beyond. Birthday parties, have someone come in and they could have 12 kids and they could get one that's 12 long. So that's our thing, the infinite cookie sandwich.
Nice day.
Thanks. I like that it has the awesome old-fashioned ice cream and it's close for the kids.
I like the customer service right away. It was a fast service.
We love supporting the local places, and they're super friendly in there, and they make sure that you get what you want and help you pick stuff out. If you haven't been there before, they tell you about how it works, so it's great.
So Mik Mart, pure joy.
Right?
It makes me want to like have an ice cream shop.
When you come into St. Paul Park and you turn down the road and you see it right over there on the right-hand side coming down Broadway.
Yep.
For a second, you have to do a double take. Like, what? What is that?
They have a great little patio.
Right.
I wouldn't even call it little. It's like pretty big.
No, and the big mural on the side, I mean,
Yes.
kind of fits right in with everybody else and the murals that we've had along Broadway.
I love the murals on Broadway.
Right.
That's so fun.
They were all done by the same artists. And actually with Mik Mart, I heard some of the local community members helped out. I believe, was it Veed Musniks?
Oh, really?
Helped paint part of that.
V did?
I
My.
believe, if I'm correct,
It wouldn't surprise me.
you know, people from the community helped to kick in and take part in that. So, no,
That's
it's
so
a nice
cool.
little place. The effort that's gone into that. A little bit of the backstory I heard, as they were growing, and the story that was told by the son on, how it all started.
Mm-hmm.
And then Woodbury was like, hey, you can't really run this operation out of your house and be parking all of these trucks. So that's how they ended up finding a place to warehouse in St. Paul Park. And
Oh, okay.
and then grew into the storefront and everything else like that. So, I mean, that's just a great story altogether to go from, starting out of your home to a warehouse area to what they've become now with the little
Right.
storefront. And
Right.
the part they take in the community. I think it was last year we had, the city had, the police had Cone with a Cop.
Oh,
which
over at
was-
Mik Mart.
Yes,
Yeah.
helped sponsored
Yeah.
by Mik Mart.
Their ice cream sandwiches are amazing. Probably one of the best I've ever had.
Those what did they call them?
I've never had the infinite ice cream sandwich. I didn't even know that was a thing before I saw this video.
Right. I had
But
heard about them, but I had never seen one. I was like, wow, that's what they were talking about.
That's what it is.
No,
Yeah.
it is a great thing for the community. And you know what else? They provide jobs for teenagers, which are hard
Yes.
to come by these days, especially in our community where we don't have a lot of fast food opportunities or things like that. I mean, gas stations where people are required to be 18 years old to sell
Right.
cigarettes or whatever.
Right.
I know.
Everywhere. We were over at the movies with Mo last weekend, and a teenager came up and was just talking to us in our booth and saying, hey, I wish maybe you can have a show that tells people where the jobs are at, because I've been trying to find a job somewhere. And it doesn't seem like anybody's hiring.
And kids these days, that extra money really helps. Might help keep you out of a little trouble too when you're
Right?
looking for a little extra cash.
Okay, well, Mik Mart on Broadway Avenue, St. Paul Park. Check them out. They're really great.
Right? Stop on down. They got a lot of options.
Yeah, a lot of options. Our next story is about a local country singer named Hailey James. And let's take a look at this video. It was brought to us by multimedia manager Bob McSherry.
Growing up in Cottage Grove, it was my hometown. I went to Hillside Elementary. I went to Cottage Grove Middle School. The house that I grew up in the neighborhood even that I grew up in, the teachers that I had, just everything about it, it just put a really good impact on me. I mean, my parents, they actually met at a bar that played country music. They raised me and my sister on country music, and it's all I ever really heard. And so it became something that just felt very much like home. My parents got divorced, and so country music kind of held the family together, and it still in a way holds us together. It's been something that became super special. I wrote a song for my grandma who was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she fought the dang thing. She doesn't have cancer anymore, and I even have a tattoo on me that says faithful, and the song's called Gotta Stay Faithful, and it's in my grandma's handwriting. What was so special about it is I got to sing one song at US Bank Stadium. I sang at the halftime, and it was for their cancer awareness game. There was like 50,000 people there, and I would say a lot of people heard me that day. Is that I gotta stay faithful.
So Hailey James, local country, I think she's a star. I mean, she's been doing a lot of different things. Really wonderful voice.
Right?
Yeah.
She's on her way up.
She's on her way up. Do you ever have bands over at Franke's Bar?
No, we don't have room for that.
Oh, okay. Well, you could just, on the bar. Or...
Right.
What was that movie? Coyote Ugly?
Oh, yeah.
You probably don't want to do that.
No, I don't think my bartenders will go for that.
So that entire piece, you can find that on the TrueLens Community Media YouTube page. Just, Google Hailey James on YouTube, and you can watch the whole thing. Did you ever have any big dreams growing up, Mayor Franke, where you were like, I want to be a baseball player or a rock star?
I wanted to be a rock star.
Did
I wanted
you?
to be Vince Neil.
Oh, nice.
Nice. I mean, the 80s were, my prime time.
I could see you doing it.
Right? People
There's
don't
still
believe
time.
me. I used to have hair down to the middle of my back and wear
Did you?
eyeliner and ask anybody I went to high school with. They'll be like, "Oh, that Frankie! I can't believe how he turned out."
We're gonna need a picture of that.
Right.
So
unfortunately, no pictures.
No pictures exist.
No. Once I got into politics, I had all those scrubbed.
All right. Well, that's a challenge to the community.
Right.
You can find a picture of Mayor Franke with long hair.
No, I think she's got a great voice, and I've seen different things here and there on social media, with Hailey, and it's just good for her. Good for her.
It's always fun seeing, local people go off and fulfill their dreams.
Right.
That's really awesome. Well, I don't know if this is really, speaking of fulfilling your dreams, but our last little piece is a little history snippet, and it's about St. Paul Park and really the area, but it's about something called vegetable fights. And we'll talk more about it after we listen to what a vegetable fight was.
The vegetable fights of the 1970s. Wait, what? Vegetable fights? That's right, it was a real thing. It was a homecoming tradition between the junior and senior class at Park High School in Cottage Grove. They met on Pullman Avenue with vegetables in hand. Tomatoes were a popular choice, but really any vegetable seemed to be on the table. Eggs were also on the menu. In 1974, harmless fun turned sour, and the simple tomato toss turned destructive, with some students moving to Dingle Park and St. Paul Park and throwing things like rocks, bottles, and bricks. Police officers, firefighters, and reserves from St. Paul Park, Cottage Grove, and Newport were called to settle the disturbance, which took almost an hour and a half. In the end, 30 people were arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and vandalism. The following year, 16 people were arrested. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. In 1976, the tradition was squelched when the City Council passed an ordinance prohibiting unlawful assembly. And that is the story of the vegetable fights.
Have you ever heard of the vegetable fights?
I did not hear anything about the vegetable fights until I think it was you or somebody had brought it up on the Facebook.
I had posted it on Facebook because I saw a little snippet about these vegetable fights that used to occur in St. Paul Park, with the Park High School kids. I thought, I'd never heard of this before. But, it was before my time, before your time, like in the 70s. Right. And so I asked on the Facebook page, has anybody ever heard of these vegetable fights? And people left and right were like, I remember those, and oh, yeah.
No, that must have been back, when was Park High School and Cottage Grove built?
Oh, it's a good question. 60s?
So was it still, but were they still having classes down at the old Park High School? Which originated in St. Paul Park.
That was the original high school in town, was St. Paul Park High School.
So when they talk about where the tradition began, maybe, not where it ended, as we hear about in the story.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that's totally true. Maybe that's why they met there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's because the high school was in St. Paul Park.
Yes. And the high school still stands as
Senior Living.
Senior Living. Yeah, right next to Oltman, the old Oltman.
Nuevas Fronteras
now. The original Oltman is what I call it.
Yes.
But yeah, now it's Nuevas Fronteras. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, so maybe that's why it all took place in St. Paul Park, was because that's where the high school was originally.
Yeah. So the other thing, people started talking about, oh yeah, I remember that.
No, 30-some people arrested. Even back in those days, that's kind of crazy when you think about it.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Nobody was injured, which is good, but throwing a tomato and throwing a brick, different things.
Well, I don't know. You could show up with a potato or something, it'd probably do as
Right?
much damage.
Carrot?
Vegetable
were
wars?
they pre-cooking
Right.
these? Or like, what was, I don't know.
I don't know.
You know, if you get hit with a tomato just right, it could take out an eye. You know,
Right.
I'm just saying.
No.
But yeah.
No, I did have a customer at Frankie's Bar say he did remember these. I didn't hear the entire story, but they're still out there.
They're still
They're still out there.
Well, let's not do it again. When I was a kid, you know, we did TPing. You had toilet
Right.
paper, and it was just a friendly thing. You usually did it to your friends' houses or whatever.
Homecoming, things like that.
Homecoming,
Right.
yeah. I don't think kids do that anymore. Toilet paper's too expensive.
Right. You might catch a felony after that one.
Right. I don't even know if kids do anything these days.
You know, I have
You know?
not seen much lately in our area.
That's good. It was silly. So
No, kids do not throw vegetables.
no. Well, they're really expensive too.
Eat your vegetables.
Eat
Don't
your
throw them.
vegetables. You got it right from the mayor of St. Paul Park. Eat your vegetables. All right. Well, let's talk about some upcoming events before we sign off here today. The first one coming up relatively soon is Newport Pioneer Day, which is going to be August 9th. They have that at Pioneer Park from 10:30 to 4. It's a really fun, like, local festival. Have you ever been to Pioneer Day? Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Great corn.
Right. I was going to say, great corn.
Yeah. You got to get a
took the words
button.
right out of my mouth. Right.
You get a button, and then you get all you can eat corn, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. And they butter it, salt it.
They have a nice little car show and a nice parade. And it's only like a half a day event, which...
Well, it's a little longer
what I
this
mean?
year.
Oh, is
they
it?
moved it from Sunday to Saturday for the first time.
Oh.
And so it'll be on a Saturday from 10:30 to 4, and then they'll have the parade, I think, at 11, I think. Don't quote me on that. But, yeah, they have a little parade that goes down and ends at the park, and then they have bingo and live music. And
Well, maybe as Newport grows, because it's growing, maybe the event will grow back to something like it used to be.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know, I know that's where we're at with Heritage Days. Things were kind of going, you know, in the wrong direction. Not only, I think, because of society, COVID, and other things, the lack of carnivals, things like that. But
Right.
you
It's
know,
hard to get a carnival.
Oh.
It's harder than people think.
No, there's very
Yeah.
few even doing business. I researched it for years, and you know, as being mayor and as being a business owner and being involved in Heritage Days, like, why can't we get a carnival?
Right.
You know, I mean, there's several factors. You know, it's
Yeah.
the insurance costs, the regulations, and COVID killed a lot of them. And I think just the overall expense of running them, there just isn't so many
Hard
anymore.
to put it all back and drive it to another spot and take it all open for 2 or 3 days. I mean,
Right?
I would imagine it's a hard thing.
So if you have a community that has a carnival, be happy.
It's a big deal,
Because
right?
it is a big deal.
Yeah. You kind of touched on Heritage Days. That's the next thing on my list, August 15th and 16th. Do you want to talk about Heritage Days?
You know, last year we moved it up to Heritage Park, and I think it was a hit. Personally, moving it off of Broadway, which was such a large, expanded area to fill. Like, say, once you lost the carnival, you lose some of that draw. And then over time and after COVID, it had really become something that we needed to focus on. And a bunch of people have stepped up. And last year moved it up to Heritage Park, and I would call it maybe in a restructuring, rebuilding phase. And
Sure.
I think it really worked. It worked having it in that smaller, condensed area. Heritage Days has partnered with other local organizations, and this year we're having like 4 bands.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw your lineup. You
Right.
have some pretty good bands.
No, there's some pretty good
What
bands.
is it, Uncle Chunk on Saturday
Uncle
night?
Chunk
I mean,
on
a lot
Saturday
of people
night,
know them.
No, well
Yeah.
known in the area, you know. Last year was we brought back the outhouse races.
Oh, I saw pictures of that. That looked like a
Yep.
lot of fun.
I will say my team took the
You-
ribbon.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
We
Were
called
you pulling or were you sitting?
I was sitting. It was
Okay.
called the mayoral throne.
That's awesome.
This year, due to some circumstances, I will not be defending my title, but that was hilarious. It was a great time. You know, we have Touch a Truck, we have multiple vendors. The vendors are coming back. Lots of food trucks. Like I say, the music. The Park Cafe and the American Legion partner together, and every year we've done the egg toss and balloon toss, which is just
that's
a great time.
That's a staple. There's still mud volleyball, right?
Yep, mud volleyball.
Oh.
This year, the Lions Club, we are converting one of the mud volleyball pits into a bocce ball.
Oh, great idea.
So the Lions are going to start with their first annual bocce ball tournament down there next to the mud volleyball pits.
Fun. So that'll still draw people down to Broadway for those kind of events as well.
No, and the businesses down there can host their own special events, pull special event permits. The American Legion is also coinciding with a band, I believe Friday night, and I think Saturday they're doing the wrestling in their back parking lot, so the wrestling will be there.
People always like that.
Right, that's always a fun
Literally a wrestling ring.
Right.
Right in the
Old
street
school,
there. Yeah.
Yep. It'll be in their back parking lot.
Okay.
Park Place does their annual bags tournament and things like that. So there's still those opportunities. Our parade will be on Saturday. It starts down, instead of going, since things have reversed, going where everything was held on Broadway, we would march from Heritage Park to Broadway.
Yeah.
Now it's from Broadway up to Heritage Park.
Okay.
So,
well, TrueLens will be in that parade. Yeah. So keep a lookout for our van.
Bring plenty of candy. That's all I can say.
It's so funny because I've learned if you're going to sit on a parade route, get at the front. Because what happens is all the people run out of candy by the time they get to the end because there's so many people, they throw it, and then they're like, oh, no, we're out of candy.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a skill in its own just to throw candy.
No, when I first became mayor, after being in the parades for the business, I remember the first time they're like, all right, we're all going to get on the city truck and we're going to have some candy. And I said, oh, well, how much candy are you buying? And I don't know, we got like 4 bags, one for each council member. I'm like, are you kidding me? I went out and spent $300 of my own money because I'm like, you guys have no clue. And then I had to keep telling the council members, like, listen, slow down.
Slow down. You're going to run out.
We're going to, yeah. When we get to Broadway, then And then we would come around that corner at Summit and Broadway, and people would be like, oh. And you get to the end, and have people are like, we're so happy you still had candy. It's like, no, this is a process.
Yeah. That's a big deal. Well, I think a lot of fun things planned August 15th to the 16th.
Yep. St.
Paul Park, be there. And then August 22nd to the 24th is Woodbury Days, and that's usually held at Ojibwe Park. Lots of things, they have, a carnival and a parade and lots of different activities and music, just like all the other festivals. And I think they end with some fireworks or something like that. So.
Right. No, and that's Heritage Days is working towards eventually, and at least my hope is to get back to where we can also have a fireworks evening in town.
Maybe you'll go to like the drone show.
Right.
Did you see like Cottage Grove did a drone show this year, and people really loved it.
No.
Yeah, that was really cool.
One of the tennises was like, I'm going to be out of town. Can anybody, there's a drone show, and we were like, what are you talking about?
Right?
Yeah. And then it came up, I wasn't there for the drone show, I hadn't heard about it, but he was like, anybody get it on video? Well, of course, everybody did.
Yeah, a lot of people. And I saw the drone of the tennis sanitation truck. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
I'm like, all right,
tennises
must have, sponsored this or something, which is great. They are always, very willing
very involved in the community. In all the communities, which is really wonderful.
For everybody. And so good for them. But that was amazing.
Yeah, I think next year it's definitely going to be back. I couldn't imagine it wasn't. People were so excited about it.
No, that was something.
Yeah. Well, before we close here today, I just want to give it to you. Is there anything that you wish that everybody knew about St. Paul Park, Minnesota?
Sometimes I wish people knew we were there.
Right?
People are like, where's St. Paul Park? I'm like, okay, well, you know where Highway 61 is, and you're going
There's a big giant water tower that says
it. They're like, okay, you know where Newport is? Yep. You know where Cottage Grove is? Yep. Well, if you go from Newport to Cottage Grove and you didn't see us, you missed us.
Yeah.
But actually a lot of our local businesses, I mean, the Park Cafe draws people in from all over the Twin Cities. 328 Grill has been doing a great job.
Huge. People, we're doing a story about them right now. And, I mean, their burgers, people talk about them.
Right.
They just got a bunch of best of awards and,
drawing people to the community, which is great. Mik Mart.
Mik Mart.
I mean, they're all over.
One of the best places to have ice cream in town.
Right.
You know, check them out.
I mean, they go all over with their trucks, and then people hear about their little shop, and then it becomes a destination. You know, it's all about understanding that we're a nice little quaint town, and we have an awesome little, you know, our little business, our little main street.
Your main, Not many places
And
have
it's
a
an
main street
actual
around
main
here.
street.
You have an actual main street.
Yes.
You know, with the murals and, you know, just how it looks. It's just kind of like a quaint, nice little space in town. But also you have Lions Levy Park.
Right, that's going to be my next
gorgeous.
segue, right into Lions
It's
Levy Park. You go
gorgeous.
from Main Street right down to Lions Levy Park, which actually, until Cottage Grove gets theirs built, we have one of the only boat launches on this side of the Mississippi River that is free, that people
Right.
can just access to go fish or recreationally boat.
There's a lot of people that just
nice
go on
little
that
park.
little island and they fish and
Right.
hang out, read a book.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
No, we have some new state money coming in. I was able to work with one of our state representatives, Rick Hansen, and we're getting the bridge redone over to that little thing so that
Oh,
it
wonderful.
can be more accessible to equipment for us to maintain that island, to make it more friendly.
I never really thought about that. Yeah, there has to be maintenance.
Right,
It floods every year usually.
right. That's
Yeah.
why the bridge has to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And then once it does flood, you know, every other year or whatever, then the debris, and we have to go over there and clean it up and do things like that. But
Okay.
it'll be easier for us to manicure and take care of, you know, during
Nice.
those intermittent times when the water's high or low. So, no, which will, you know, that's going to be one of my pet projects is Lions Levy Park. But again, I think it is such a little diamond in the rough for this entire area.
Absolutely.
That if we can do it right, it can be a nice little gem.
If people don't know about it, like just look it up, Lions Levy Park in St. Paul Park. You'll find it.
Yeah.
One last thing, you're also getting a new administrator.
Yes, we'll
It's
be
coming
getting a
on
new city
soon.
administrator. We're going to be making an offer. And a lot of changes in St. Paul Park.
Yeah.
And I'm very optimistic that we're going to be doing, things are changing, and I think they're going to be for the better. I'm excited. I'm excited that we're going to be able to start looking towards the future, and the council and myself can start making some decisions, and it's actually, I think, going to be a good time for St. Paul Park.
Well, that is the absolute perfect ending to this podcast.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me
No,
today,
thanks for
Mayor
having me,
Franke.
Ann. This has been fun.
Awesome. That was really great. You know, thank you for watching and listening today. If you would like to subscribe and follow, we would love it if you did. And also always catch our TrueLens Community Media videos on your local cable channel or on YouTube. Thanks and have a great day.
Thanks for joining us. TrueLens Podcast. Subscribe now. Brought to you by TrueLens Community Media. Watch, listen, connect.